It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Rut Steiner, and your married name is Feldlinger. We here in your beautiful home in Beit Vegan in Jerusalem. And Rut, you were born in Holland.
Yes, in Amsterdam in 1940. And when I was 2 years, my parents put me by non-Jews, me and my sister. My sister by another family. My sister was 14 months younger than me. She's not alive anymore. But we didn't grow up together only after I was 6. When I was 6 years, then it was after the war, and my auntie and uncle came back after the war. They were in Bergen-Belsen, and they, with their children, were saved. But my parents were put to Auschwitz. Yeah, so I never knew them. My father, I have to say the name, Chaim David Steiner, and my mother, Eva Eisenman. And my father was from Poland, Rzeszów, but he married in Holland with my mother. And what do you want to know more?
Were they very from family?
Was very from family, yeah. Very from family. My mother was a Eisenman from a Dutch family, famous family, because the brother of my mother had the shul, synagogue in Amsterdam. They made the shul, and there's another shul, Eisenman shul in Belgium, in Antwerp, and in Basel. There was also a brother. He was also called Eisenman, but I didn't know too much of them. And when I was 6, my uncle found me and my sister where we were, by which Eno Yehudi we were.
The non-Jewish,
yeah.
righteous Gentiles? Chasidei Motalam, they were righteous Gentiles.
Yeah. This is this one. These two are from my non-Jewish family, non-Jewish.
Do you remember their names?
Yeah, of course. I know them. I had even till they were. I was always in contact with them later. When I was already by my auntie and uncle, but every year I used to go a few days to visit them.
What were their names?
Kromhout, it's written. Kromhout. Hendrikus Kromhout, and she was called, don't remember her name, I don't remember. It's written. It's not written. I think she was called Catharine, and he was called Hendrik. And they were very from Goyim. He reformeerd.
Reformed?
Yeah.
Dutch Reformed?
And he was he was a vegetable
merchant?
Oh. Yeah, merchant. He used to go every day with a horse and on a cart and sell the vegetables to his
clientele.
Huh?
Clientele.
Yeah. Sometimes when I was small, he took me with, I was sitting in the cart and
you remember? You have recollections?
Yeah, I only remember that I was, but I don't remember much else. And he okay, that was what I know from them. And they had, after I was 2 years when I came to them, and they were just a few months married. They were very froom, not Catholic, Reformed,
They were
and
religious.
they told the neighbors that I was a child from before, so that they should not know anything. Then I was there till I was 6, and I didn't know anything. I thought I was their daughter when I was a little girl. And then when in 1946, my uncle was searching for us, and he found us, found me and my sister also, but by another family. And then it was the first time that they told me that I was not their daughter. In the meantime, they had 3 sons and 1 daughter, no, 2 daughters. One was a what you call it? Not.
A little bit.
One was a, how you call them?
Down syndrome?
Down syndrome. But they were very, very good to this daughter. They did everything possible what they could do to make her a mensch. And the other one is an older daughter. But they got, and they, right. And I had a very good contact with them all the years. And my uncle was very nice to them. He gave them presents, sent them matzes for Pesach and underwear. He had a factory from underwear, so he sent them, I don't know all. He didn't make much reclame about it. What he did. He was a very good person. Yeah,
This is a birthday card that
Yeah.
she got from their daughter. They're still in touch.
yeah.
That's so wonderful. And where did they live in Holland?
In Leiden. Leiden is a university town, but even the queen and the daughter studied there on the university in Leiden. But I was born in Amsterdam, and I was during the war by them in Leiden.
And what is your earliest recollections? What do you remember? What memories do you have? Your earliest memories, or you don't remember your parents? You were too young.
Nothing. The onlyest I remember was I don't remember anymore exactly. I was there in school, in the primary school. Oh no, it can't be. It was a kindergarten. But I don't. What I remember is that he was very froom boy. Always by every day, by the meal, the Hauptmeal. He used to read a portion out of the Bible. And on Sunday, he was a teacher in the Sunday school. That is a school, like by us, Cheder. That was for the Goyim a school. That I remember that he used to be a teacher there on Sundays.
Did they ever take you to their church?
Everything.
But I think they had to do it, because otherwise people would have been suspicious.
Yeah, And I always said I wanted to marry how you call them?
A priest.
Yeah.
Father.
A priest is a guy, is a Catholic, but by them it's called Domine. It's not, not Catholic.
Because Catholic can't even get married.
Yeah, they don't get married.
Supposedly.
That's right.
And were they very loving towards you?
Were they?
Were they very loving? Were they very affectionate?
Very. I never knew that she wasn't my mother. Till my uncle came and they told me. And I now can't even remember if it gave me a shock. I only know that I know that they had to wait for the Memshala,
For the government?
yeah, for the government, that they could take me back home to their house to be a Yid. But they asked my, you call it, how do you say it in English?
Stepparents?
No, these parents, you call them Pflegeeltern, you say in German. Pflegeeltern, you know what it means? How do you say that in
Hebrew it's Mishpachat Omna.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's not adopted.
not really adopted, but they were
Yeah.
guardians, maybe
Yeah.
guardians.
Yeah, you can say whatever.
But they risked their lives. They risked their lives by...
And how, yeah.
Because there were cases where people were caught and they were sent to the camps and they never came back.
Sure. And I was very lucky because I have cousins who also were by people, and they had sometimes to move were moved a few times to different ones. And it's very bad for a child every time to be put by other...
It's a trauma. It's a major trauma.
Yeah, it's a trauma, yeah.
And when your uncle came, what was your uncle's name who came to visit you, who came to fetch you?
David Sonnenberg.
And how is he related?
His wife was a sister from my father. Yeah, right? Then when he came, I didn't know what he was. There was a strange man, and he took me on his lap, and he kissed me. That's what I remember. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what was happening.
And when you were separated, was it very emotional? It must have been very difficult. It's.
I can't remember it. I know that I liked them very much, and then I went. They asked these parents, what you call them?
Pflegeeltern.
Yeah, Pflegeeltern. They asked if they could come to them a week because it was going Pesach, and they didn't want me to eat chametz. So they allowed me, they didn't mind. But it was not officially allowed yet from the Memshala.
From the government.
Yeah. So so I was a week there, and there I met for the first time my sister, because they did the same. They asked for my sister. She was also by people. And later when we were allowed from the government to be back, we got to know each other, and we always we were very much we didn't we made a lot of
Mischief.
we didn't behave like a sister to each other. We were very, how you call it, like a cat and a mouse, you know? And later they told us it must have been because we were not brought up when we were young together, when we little ones. Okay.
But when you first saw your sister, do you remember that encounter when you first
Remember
met her?
nothing. I don't remember anything. I went to I was on that Pesach by my auntie and uncle, and she came, and she was also there, and that's it. Can't remember anything.
And you became close with your sister?
Yeah, but later we lived there later when we.
And you lived in their home? Was this in Amsterdam?
Yeah, it was in Amsterdam, and they didn't have yet a own house. They had a factory. My uncle, I don't know if it was from him and from his family, they had a factory building, and we lived there till they lived in their own house. After the war, till they got back their things.
And how did they survive the war, your uncle?
It was a very big mess. They were also on the list for to go to Auschwitz, and then they had the two daughters and a son. The son was the youngest, and he became ill, and they were already supposed to go to Auschwitz.
Were they in Westerbork?
Yeah. Yeah, first in Westerbork and afterwards in Bergen-Belsen. And then he became ill with the children illness, which was Minha Shomayim, because then my uncle, he was very courageous, and he went to one of these German officers, and that also was also a very big that he did it, because they could have told him, or they could have just
shot him. They could have just killed him.
He just they did that, and he said that he wanted to ask them. He asked them if he could stay with his till his son was better, so they allowed him. And in the meanwhile, they got papers from South America. Then then they were not sent to Bergen-Belsen.
To Auschwitz, they sent him to Bergen-Belsen instead.
No. Then they were not sent to Auschwitz. That was the way they were saved through that boy. Let's say, because they allowed them to stay till he was better. And after that, it was already the, how do you say it? That it was the war was already finished.
But did they send him to Bergen-Belsen? Did he go to Bergen-Belsen?
Yeah. He was in Bergen-Belsen.
But I think people that had papers for South America, they put them in a different section, in a different area.
Maybe then, but they never told us much. And they never told us that much. They just told us that they are there, my auntie and uncle, and that my parents might still come back, but it never happened.
And your uncle and your aunt, were they very loving to you and your sister as well?
Yeah, they were very good to us, but we as children still felt a difference in the education. We were very difficult. They were more, that children, is a mother loves her children, and they also liked us, but it was a different way. We did feel that we were not their parent, their children. Yeah.
Did they show a lot of favoritism to their own children?
Yeah.
And did you get on well with their children? Did you?
Yeah, but they were older than us. The son, who was the youngest, was 2 years older for me.
And when did you finally find out that your parents weren't coming back?
They just told us in the beginning they might still come back, and I always had dreams about that, but it never happened. And then, I don't know when it was, one day they got a letter that they were not
killed.
alive, that they were killed. And I have the dates also. I got a letter. We used to fast on assorbetevis because all the people who didn't have a yahrzeit, they fasted on assorbetevis. Those when I was bigger, taller, also not taller, older, we had always to fast on assorbetevis. And then one day they got a letter when my parents were murdered. Although my father different, don't know if they were. My father was just by the end of the war. He died. Mom is the end.
Really?
I've got the dates. I don't know if I've got them here. I've got the dates.
And you have a picture of your parents?
Yeah.
This is amazing. Sure. How did this picture survive?
They had left a case with things in it, and that was hidden by a guy, and they got it back after the war.
It's
You
so
got some
precious. This
things.
picture is. This is the Richard. It's so precious.
That is me with my sister and my mother.
This is before.
Just before they put us by the Goyim, here it's written, 23rd of September. 1942.
1942. This is amazing. And this is the original picture.
Yeah, this is much, that's already when we were much later. My sister and me, by my auntie and uncle. But that was already, I don't know which year that is. It is already, we were already grown up. And this is me when I was 6 in school. That was already Amsterdam. It's written here, Amsterdam, when it was taken. When it was
In 1947. And what school did you go to? Was it
Jewish
It was a
school.
Jewish school.
Yeah.
And were most of the children also hidden in your class, or were they all survivors as well?
No, this is a picture from them, from that of that time. They're all Jewish children, but there are some not from, and some. This is a from girl, and some of them are from. This is me, and this was a Goyish teacher. She was just not a regular teacher. She was there because the other teacher was not there. It's not so interesting for you. This is a cousin for me who was also called my name, same name, and she was with her mother in the war. This is in 49. Here it's written.
And you are.
Yeah. But then I was 9 years on that picture.
And what was the name of the school?
Rospina.
Spinner, in Amsterdam, 1949. And do you have fond memories? Do you have
Do I have memories?
but
No.
good memories of the school?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little girl. What do I know? We learned arithmetic and writing and everything that I remember.
And Limudei Kodesh?
noemen they Kurdish. Yeah, so Limor they Kurdish, but not as much, a bit. I've got no more pictures in here. So these are all documents from.
You have somewhere pictures of your parents. I can't find them.
So we have when they
And
got
the
married,
people.
which is a
here.
beautiful picture when your parents got married.
Yeah, that one.
This one. This is my mother. My mother's a Kalle, and that's the Hochzeit.
The wedding.
The wedding, yeah.
This is amazing. And this was all in the case,
In what?
in the suitcase that your parents.
Yeah. This
And this is from the original.
is the parents from my father.
They were very from.
Yeah. After the war, they put somewhere, I don't even know where, remembrance on all the people who didn't have any, who didn't have any.
They didn't have a kever.
Yeah.
They didn't have a.
Yeah. This is one, but I can't see name of my parents. I've got. That was such written. I find the one where you see my parents better.
Is this in Amsterdam?
Yeah. This was my father. And this is me. The same as you saw the
Yeah.
little one before. Here you see my parents.
If you pay attention, you can see a mile away that she's Jewish. Those people are very
You
brave.
could see very.
And this is my auntie and uncle who took us, but that was when maybe there. Yeah, something like this.
It couldn't have been very easy for your uncle and aunt to take you. It was a very big responsibility.
Yeah, and it was also a very big thing to take two little girls, and they didn't have money, it's all, but they always.
It's a burden.
Yeah,
But it's they did such a mitzvah, such a.
that's right. This is also my mother, it's my father. This is my auntie and uncle, were much later already. Then it's written Purim 81.
And did they remain in Amsterdam or did they?
No, they came to Eretz Yisrael.
They came to live here.
Yeah. This is a picture from the Roof, which is he had 11 or 12 children, and they were all deported. And he married again this lady.
What was his
and
name?
had children. Rav Snieders.
The rabbi of Basel.
Of Basel. And how are these with his children? Are you in the picture as well?
No, it's from
the second marriage.
Yeah.
From the second marriage. And how was your connection
To whom?
to the world?
That's much later. I mean, look, not the right tonight. It was much later. I was normal. I was by my auntie and uncle, but this is just a holiday picture, which I have
No,
from
how
them.
come you have the picture? He's asking what was
Yeah,
your pleasure.
I don't know.
Did you used to go visit them in Basel?
Who?
She lived in Basel after they got married.
After you got married, you lived in Basel?
Yeah. This one you saw already, this one. There's a lot of the family on it, but you saw, that was the wedding for my parents.
sad to think that so many of the people in this picture were deported.
Huh?
It's sad to think that the majority of the people in this picture.
Yeah.
Well,
It's my family. Was my family. I have a list whoever it was, but it doesn't mean anything. Either. You see it. It's Glassman. And this is the same. Also for my parents' picture.
They looked so happy. You can see smiling and.
This belongs to that this that were all the names which were
names.
all the names from the people who. And this was the house for my auntie and uncle after the war.
Is this in Amsterdam?
Yeah, this.
And how often did you go back to the non-Jewish family?
Once a year. And we couldn't eat much there, so we just had bread and there wasn't much to eat. We were there. I was there a few days.
And did you go with your sister?
My sister was by another family.
Did you visit your sister's family as well?
No, once saw them, but not much. My sister didn't have such close connection with her family, and she didn't have any contact later with that family.
She was also younger.
She was younger.
Yeah, but not so much. This is the picture from my grandmother and grandfather when they got married.
The Eisenmans.
Eisenman.
Yeah, I think I showed you everything. My husband has a yeshiva, so my husband, who had the yeshiva, I don't know, my husband, my son-in-law has a yeshiva, and that's what it's called, Shar, this one Shar, and that they made something, the Elu Nishmas, my sister, who was not alive anymore, and my sister was very young. She was nifter. This is I wrote down once. They helped me to write down all the names on that picture from the
Chasana.
That's right. Yeah, this one.
This is a list of.
The Krom house, the people who took her in, they would come to every simcha.
They would come to the simchas.
Now to the weddings.
To the weddings.
Yeah.
That's why.
This is my husband, and he was for still, and that is my brother-in-law, my sister's husband. He is still alive. She was nifter early, but he's still alive.
And where does he live?
Now he lives in London. He lived. His parents lived in London, so he lived in London. I think I showed you everything. This is my not Jewish mother, and it's her child, not me.
Oh, this is. They look very lovely, very nice people.
Yeah, they were. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. This is a copy from the Ksuve, I think from my parents. Don't know. From Mike Soer. A copy of it. And this is the Yichus. I had very famous ancestors, yeah. And that's here it's written.
Sure. And can I ask, where did you meet your husband?
In Basel. In Basel. My how do you say? My let's see, beruf. I learned my profession. I was Ganenneted.
You were with children.
Kindergarten. But it was not in Holland. There was not. Was only one kindergarten, and I was there 1 month, kindergarten teacher, because the one who was there was on holidays, and they didn't have for me. No, so I was a secretary, and then it was written in a Jewish paper that they were looking for a Jewish teacher. So I went to Switzerland. My aunt and they sent me to Switzerland that I could be a teacher there, and I had to how do you say? I had to introduce myself, and I had to give a lesson there and everything. But in the meanwhile, that person in Switzerland who was a kindergarten teacher where I was supposed to be, she broke off her job, her engagement, so I didn't have. But they told me I should anyway come and introduce myself. Well, they will need me another time. And then in Switzerland, my auntie and uncle, they sent me there to a family which they knew that I should be somewhere. So when I was there, I mean not long, when I came there, they had somehow in mind that they wanted to
make a shidduch.
That's right. That they want to make a shidduch. So they told me that there's a boy here and a man, and maybe you want to meet him. And I had no idea. I was 19. So I met him. It's him. And we he wanted to marry me, but my auntie and uncle didn't know about it. And when they heard about it, my auntie was furious because I was very young. I mean, I was only 19, and their children were much older, and they did not have yet
They weren't married yet.
Yeah, they didn't have. So it was my auntie and uncle. They were all, especially she was also during the war. Difficulties with her nerves. It was, not.
It affected her.
It affected her very much. So he said it's not good for me to stay, for her to stay there. So then I went to Switzerland and I soon got married. But my aunt and uncle couldn't come. They didn't come. So then I got married in Switzerland.
And your sister was at the Chasana?
She came, yeah, my sister was. I've got some pictures.
And can I ask, did you learn the language? Because it wasn't in Dutch.
Yeah. You learn the language.
She speaks it well.
Huh?
She speaks it well. My
Yeah.
mother was Swiss, so I know.
Yeah, but was. Let's see if I've got a picture. I don't know.
And your husband's family, they took you in very well?
My husband's family, yeah, they were very, very nice to me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is a picture. No, but it's that is the IJsselman side. It's not interesting for you. This is my sister, this is me.
Wow, it's very interesting.
This is a niece who got married, no, a cousin who got married. It's from the IJsselman family. It's not so, I don't know if you've got anything for me. That's the one I wanted to show you.
Oh, this is in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That's your husband's family?
That's, yeah, my husband with his brother
Right.
and his mother and his sister, brother, sister, brother. And that's much later taken. I don't know if it's so interesting for you to see all these.
So this is your husband's family.
Yeah,
And this is in Basel?
it's in Basel, yeah, but much later. Much later. This is in the paper, the newspaper for my sister was,
Miriam Deutsch.
yeah, that when she was nifter, then they wrote it in the paper.
And your sister lived in Stamford Hill?
That's right. And 16. It's near, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's my mother-in-law. She
also lived in
she was not in the war because they were Swiss.
They were Swiss.
Swiss people were not in the war, and she married off my husband, me, and two more children within 2 weeks, and she was a widow. She's a very strong person, very strong character.
And your husband's family in Basel, did they help Yidden during the war? Who had escaped to Switzerland?
My husband's family, yeah, they all went. They were in Basel, and then they went to Montreux, because it was further away from the
border.
That's right. Yeah.
So you have a
They
kiss with... and did they know Rebecca Sternbach? Did they have a kiss with Rebecca Sternbach?
Surely they know it, but I don't know it. I mean, she was before my time.
Her husband learned in Montreux,
In Montreux.
where my father taught. The world is a small place.
It's a small one.
Yeah. And the son of this Rebecca Sternbach was my teacher in England later, in Gateshead, in seminary. I was in seminary, and he was one of the teachers, Chumash teachers.
When were you in seminary in Gateshead?
Yeah.
Before you got married?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you were...
I was 16 when I finished school. My uncle sent me to there. Then I was supposed. It was very expensive, to send somebody, and he wanted me to stay for half a year, and I was very, very sad because it's a new life there. It was completely different from everything, and you learned a lot and so on. So in the end, you see it?
Rabbi Cohn?
That's right. What you call that? The head of the seminary. he made that I could stay a year. So I stayed a year in Gateshead.
But it's amazing that your uncle, that he paid for it, because
Absolutely.
they weren't wealthy people. They weren't.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, it was helped from the joint. You ever heard of the joint? So the joint helped. But that I didn't know these things. He never told me financial things. But that I heard later that.
They pitched in.
And when did you come to Eretz Israel?
And it's much later, when I was married already. My husband wanted to, and I wanted to go to Eretz Israel, and he also wanted to. But he said he can't because at the moment, later maybe we'll go. He said because he had he had his mother with 3 or more, with all the children, which I just show you. I show you. So they had a factory from clothes, from from coats and dresses and all this. So they had first to, and anyway, then they divided, when they divided, the brothers divided the business. My husband took the skirts, the things and so on. So then we were already staying in Holland.
Settled.
Yeah. And much later
You had the children already.
Yeah.
And you stayed in Basel, or you?
We stayed in Basel, yeah.
And did you often go back to Holland, to visit Holland as well?
Once a year.
Once a year.
Yeah.
And can I ask, at this ceremony with the Israeli ambassador, when the Krahot were given Kasirei Motelam, were you at the ceremony?
Yeah, that's me, and I had to.
Wrote that letter to.
No, I didn't write. I had to give a drosje there.
Oh, you gave a.
Yeah, but I didn't make it all myself. I had a cousin, and he helped me the night before to write the drosje in good Dutch, and that's the drosje.
And you in touch with their children?
Yeah, I'm still.
Have they ever come to visit in Israel?
Yeah, they have. There was once a war here in Israel. I mean, once there was a war in 48. I don't know when it was. And 2 boys, two brothers came.
But you still, to this very day, you're in touch with the family?
In touch. There is still 1 brother, the oldest, and another one, and a girl. 3 are still alive.
Can I ask you, it's a very, very difficult question, but a very, very difficult question. But if the tables were turned, have you ever thought, what would you do if somebody came and asked, would you take in, if you were put in that position,
to take in
a strange child, and it endangers your family?
Yeah.
It's a very, very, very difficult question.
Yeah.
Did you ever think about?
Never thought about it.
It's very hard to even.
No. Yeah.
What they did is.
No, you can't. You can't. As a Jewish person, you can't take that. Yeah. You can't because you can't.
You keep on thinking about
you can save them. Yeah, it's very.
It's a very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Because if it's for yourself.
You heard of people who did that? Did you ever hear that? That
a Jewish person took a non-Jew.
I mean, I suppose there are.
No, there are. There have been.
There are, definitely.
No, there have been. But it's what they did is incredible, because there were many cases where they were.
But you should know that there were when I was that age, 6 years, I showed it, I don't know if I showed you a picture when I was about 6 in that school. I've got that, yeah, you saw it.
The braids.
Yeah, that's right. So in that school, there were so many in our class who had the same
Situation.
yeah.
I mean, there were other Jews in
That's
that
right.
class.
I had a friend, and she didn't have parents. She lived by her grandparents. And another one who, I don't know who it was, but there were all of them, nearly all of the Jewish girls there, or boys, had no, or half a parent, or no parents, lived by grandparents, or by, that was very common after the war. It was not, now everybody would say, oh, poor child, yeah? But that time, as a little girl, it was normal for me that she didn't have a father and she didn't have a mother, and it was not.
It was not uncommon.
It was not. It was.
It was
after the war was so many. I had so many friends later also who had no parents or had only lived by an auntie, or you know.
And what happened to your extended family? Uncles and aunts, other uncles,
Yeah.
did any survive?
From my mother's side, from my mother's side, I had aunt, a brother from my mother who came back with. No, he was not in the war. He was by Goyim with his family. And after the war, they were not as froom as my auntie and uncle, but they were also froom. They were Mizrahi.
Mm-hmm.
And I had contact with them. I went there for Yontif and so on. And what else? I had a sister of my mother. She survived with her daughter. And I went to visit them.
They stayed in Amsterdam as well?
They lived in Amsterdam, and during the war they were in Bergen-Belsen. And the other one, which I said from my a brother from my mother with his family, Eisenman, they were by Goyim during the war, and they were hidden like I was. And afterwards, they were my auntie and uncles. Then my sister and me went to visit them. Or on Yontif, one day Yontif, we went there, or something like this.
And it's actually... But you kept a close kisher with the extended family. You always...
Yeah. Okay, my aunt and uncle looked after it, that we went to visit them, but they always felt it's a different upbringing. They were Mizrahi, so they were a little less, not as religious as my auntie and uncle.
And did you always keep your emunah? You always, when your uncle and aunt, you always kept your emunah. You never doubted, or
no.
Even when you heard that your parents weren't coming back.
Yeah, no. But didn't come into question. But what shall I? No.
It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's who's over us.
It's the schut of your parents and grandparents, and
that's right. Yeah.
And if I can ask, what message do you give to your children and grandchildren and to the future, future generations?
I have very firm children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
Do you want to
and
give
they
them a
also,
message?
they are, no, it's not necessary. They are like we are. And I have I've got 3 sons-in-law, and they are all not in business. They are all, one is a Rosh Hashiva, and another one is in a koilel, and another one has a koilel with somebody else together. I mean, that's the our
The derech, the path, which
But that
I'm sure your parents would have been. Well, they do. They're looking from above, and they're
getting
nachas. They're getting. And your sister remained being in Stamford Hill. Her family's also from.
Yeah, she's got very, very, very good family.
Even
Her father-in-law was a famous rabbi in Bnei Brak, and she's got very good family, very, very, but all our derech, not Mizrahi.
Who was her father-in-law? Do you?
Her father-in-law, Rav Landau, from Bnei Brak. You ever heard of him?
He's a heksher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Very well known.
Yeah, that was her father-in-law.
Sure. So I just want to thank you so much. I just want to come in to thank you, if possible. I am so incredibly grateful to you. It's been such a schut.
It's nothing to do with me.
Rebbetzin, it's been an amazing schut to be with you, and there are no words to thank you enough. It's been really to hear your story and to hear. It's just nisim. It's miracles and miracles.
Yeah,
it's miracles that the family, the Dutch family, that they also allowed your uncle and aunt to take you.
Yeah.
Because there are many cases where it didn't happen.
Exactly.
And I'm so grateful, and Reb Rothman, I'm so grateful to you as well.
Pleasure.
It's been such a schut. It's such an honor and a privilege to be here.
No,
and you should only have mazel and bracha at Mevis Shrim.
Thank you.
And in good health, and really thank you so much.
Yeah.
And a Shana Tova.
That's right, and we should have
We need
finishing the war and
we need Hashem's help.
Yeah, and we should finish. We should be able to live like real Jews without the problems with the non-Jews.
Thank you so much.